To me, a creative practice it doesn't really matter what you're doing. It could be pottery, it could be photography, it could be painting, it could be floral design. It's where you're committing to regularly engaging in that activity to practice and get better and be bad at it and be frustrated and have breakthroughs and have breakdowns. It's like this messy act of pushing through when things get hard or that resistance. That's actually where the growth is. There have been many years where I have committed to the creative practice of making an arrangement every week during the growing season. And this practice, it actually changed my life. I spend a lot of time in my head, in my mind. Stresses, failures, stuff that didn't go the way I wanted. I often will feel like an observer. I'm just witnessing. And the act of making arrangements and going out into the garden to pick things, it gets me out of my head. The way I always start is I take a walk through the garden. I just see what's blooming, what's fading, what's at its peak, what's falling apart. Really just looking at all of the options that are available to work with and just kind of doing a check-in with nature, like what's happened this week. With each row that I walk, that noise starts to quiet. I feel like I exhale a little bit more and my shoulders relax a little bit more and my mind settles down a little bit more. I start picking a stem or two of this and a handful of that, looking for the tiniest little details, water droplets on a petal that stained the tips, or as September rolls around, the edges of the zinnias start to turn this kind of cranberry pink, which is picked up in the hydrangea blossoms. It's like this changing of the seasons. If you want everything to stay the same and be fresh and young, then it's a problem. But if you're actually looking and paying attention to those tiny details, it's such a beautiful transition. It's a way that the plant is expressing itself that you never noticed before. And so I come and pick my vase, depending on the style of arrangement I want to make, and then I just start putting things together. My favorite thing to do is make an absolute mess. I love throwing stuff on the ground and spilling water and stomping on berries. And I don't know, like something about the beauty and the chaos, the perfect and the mess. I love that. It's fun. It's just being creative, just being in the moment. So there's a huge amount of value in the act of doing it, even if not a single soul ever knows that you did it. I never think of an arrangement as an item or a thing. This is what's happening in nature right here, right now. It's like catching this moment in a bottle, this fleeting moment in time. And then the act of photographing it preserves that so that it's not just an experience, but then also I hold it as a memory. And you see it in the catalog of images, the ebb and flow, the highs and the lows, like what was a success and what was a failure, all through this beautiful lens of making bouquets. The reason this practice has changed my life is because it taught me to let go. Well, yeah, it taught me to let go, but also let go of my agenda and actually be with what is and look for the beauty in that. And sometimes it's very apparent and right in front of you, and other times you really have to hunt for it. But the more you see it, the more you realize that you're part of all of it. You're not disconnected. You actually are part of everything. You're part of the story. It's a connection to beauty. And you don't realize how much you're craving it until you start to surround yourself with it. It just adds such a richness to life. And when you are having a hard time or you hit a block, do it anyway. That's actually the time you need to do it. That's the time when that creative practice can help you fill back up and reconnect with yourself. That's when it can give to you instead of you giving to it. I would challenge you to go looking with different eyes and see if you couldn't find one beautiful thing. Go looking for beauty and you will find it.